What is the longest bit of the Bible?
Is there a question that's bothering you? What should we do if you haven't a clue? Ask Tim!
Last week we did the shortest bits of the Bible, so this week we are tackling the longest. Longest book? Now this is controversial. If you do it by chapters, it is clearly Psalms, with 150 chapters. One chapter for each psalm. Obviously. But if you do it by word count in the languages that the Bible was originally written in, then Jeremiah wins the day with 33,000 Hebrew words. The longest verse is Esther chapter 8 verse 9, which is rather pleasingly about people having to write down lots and lots of words. The longest chapter is the seemingly never-ending Psalm 119, which always feels a little bit like it must have been written as part of a bet. It is a massive acrostic poem, which means that each section begins with a different letter of the Hebrew alphabet. There are 22 Hebrew letters, and each one has 8 lines. 8! Can you imagine coming up with 8 lines on a set theme, each one beginning with the letter Q? What a bonkers idea. And now for the question you've all been asking. Who is the tallest person in the Bible? Well, Goliath seems the obvious place to start. And depending on which ancient manuscript you use, he was either 6'9", very tall, or 9'9", utterly ginormous. But then in the book of Deuteronomy we hear of an enemy of God's people with the excellent name King Og. Now we don't know exactly how tall Og was, but oddly Deuteronomy 3 does tell us the size of his bed. It was 14 feet long and 6 feet wide. So he either just liked his own space, or he was really rather large. But there is another potential contender for largest Bible character, and it is a bit weird. Genesis 6 mentions some giants called the Nephilim roaming the land shortly before the events of Noah and the flood. The Bible doesn't really tell us much about them, including, sadly, their height. But there is a strange ancient Jewish book called 1 Enoch, which is definitely not a part of the Bible. And 1 Enoch claims these giants were 3,000 ells high. An ell is roughly 18 inches, which would make the Nephilim roughly a mile high, which would make them even too big for a quick kip in Og's bed.
Is there a question that's bothering you? What should we do if you haven't a clue? Ask Tim!